previous workshop minutes to be approved. This is the first one for this year. I guess review and discuss town fund and general assistance budgets. So again, just kind of, this is what we submitted. Hopefully you had an opportunity to take a look at it. I don't know if you guys have any specific questions about it.
On page 6 for the assessor, if they want to go right to it.
It's up to Mary.
Or do you guys want to go through the front?
It's up to Mary, she's here. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll go through Mary's portion.
Just look at Mary's
okay.
portion right now? Okay. Then it's on page 6.
Okay, which one's it?
It's marked.
Mine.
No,
Go to the
okay.
next page.
I'm sorry.
Page 1.
It's labeled, not page 6.
Mine labeled
Yours
page
aren't.
6.
Well, here, this is what's marked. Did I not put that?
Is it before Senior Express, after Senior Express?
It says assessor on the bottom of the page, and that helps too.
Yeah.
My first were on there, I put the,
Whichever.
did you find it? I thought I put the page numbers, but maybe. I
Mine
didn't.
has page numbers.
Yeah, mine don't, but that's okay.
Well, she knew it was your copy, so she.
That's because you took your copy before I put the page numbers on.
That was
You
my
came into
problem.
the office. I was like,
Here, you want me to put 6 on there for you?
No, mind your own business.
Still is.
So, I guess I had opened it up, Mary, if you wanted to kind of go through your highlights, if there is any, or if anybody has any questions. I see that it is a reduction from last year.
Not from budgeted, the actual number. That's right, 23, 24, it says we budgeted 331, and she's asking for 338.
correct.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of an increase.
So the salaries, we added 3%, and pretty much everything else is what the numbers, were given from.
They're done by percentages or whatever it is for the Social Security, Medicare, that kind of stuff. The HRA, we did only at the 65% that you guys requested last year. And then the health insurance did go down for Mary because there's one less person taking insurance.
I remember last year we proposed a larger increase than 3% to give people more of a bolster. That would have gone into effect in April of this year, correct?
Correct.
What was the sentiment like amongst people when you gave them the larger percentage?
Oh, I think they were happy. We're still lower than a lot of the assessment offices around. I'm hoping that they're happy enough to stay. Nobody is indicating that they're leaving, but we're still behind, and we're the second largest township in the county. So, as long as we keep, making some movement at this point, but so minimum. I mean, I just think the 3% is really kind of minimum what we should be doing. So.
Yeah. But you feel like last year was a much different conversation. You were afraid more people were going to leave last year. You had lost someone due to pay, and they've gone higher paying job elsewhere.
Right.
Do you think you're still at risk of that?
I think there's always a risk. In the assessment field, there's a lot of jobs around, a lot of people who retire, a lot of older people. A couple of my field inspectors are newer, but they're not at a high,
Yeah.
they could go some other places. I don't think that they're not indicating they are, but the thing is, we're training them, and I'd like to keep them.
Yeah.
And they're doing a great job, so that's even more important.
Do you feel like the number of jobs that are open now in that field, the number of jobs open is greater or lower than it was last year at the same time? Like, are you seeing more postings for the same types of jobs now? Because last year, I remember specifically you said that you'd seen postings and you were concerned with retention, which is one of the reasons I think we all agreed to maybe even bolster that a little bit more.
Right, I will tell you honestly, I haven't had time to look and see how many jobs are out there. I just know that there's a lot. I mean, every county, every township has an assessment office.
Yeah.
There's I don't really know how many are open. I just know that I think they just hired a couple in Nunda. So they were down a couple people. There's not really a lot in McHenry itself that I'm aware of. It's just things change through over the year. You know, there's openings and that kind of stuff. But no, I don't really know how many are open at the moment.
The only other question I have is the number of people in the department. And I realize that you're part-time still, and you do a great job, all things considering. You added a part-timer from last year, is that the way I read this?
It's he's a college freshman. He graduated, I think he started in the summer. He's part-time. He's at this point down to, for the winter, we just cut him down to 1 day a week. But we had him at least 2. I think at one point we might have had him at 3, but 2 days a week for sure. And he's learning a lot of things. He's helpful with, we have a lot of files that have a lot of incorrect property drawings. He's very good at fixing those. So he keeps catching up on that. He's definitely, we keep him busy at least for 1-2 days a week, and my hope is to actually kind of start sending him out with the field staff to kind of learn that. I mean, who knows, things turn over and people, might quit down the line, and
Yeah, but I'm assuming if he does quit, you'd rehire another part-timer.
I would, if this was, I would. I'm just saying, if he would quit. No, I didn't mean him quitting, but
Right,
if he sticks around or likes it, there's not a lot of people that start thinking, oh, I want to be an assessor, let's get into assessment. But if they learn about it, I always have to think ahead of people on my staff. My head field inspector has been here since I started. He's been here 10 years. I don't know how long he's going to be here, but you got to think ahead and try to interest people, the part-time person, in trying to stay. So,
yeah. So I have one last question on the salary piece. So I double checked the numbers, and so if you take the 254 that the actual budget is through this year, and you extrapolate that out to like the monthly amount and add the remaining 2 months, you're definitely still coming in a little under budget. But looking specifically at the 331 budget that had been budgeted last year, starting April 1st of this year, it's only a 2% increase up to what you're proposing for next year's budget. So were you planning on not giving a full 3% increase to someone?
no, I thought that included a.
I think you're reading that wrong.
No, 331,641 going to 338,475 is a 2% increase.
That is correct. 341.
Oh, yeah, right there. Good math.
So it would be 341.
And it may not be across the board. Is
But
there?
wouldn't you use the actual
It was
number?
supposed to be.
Hold on,
I was just
pull it
wondering.
up right now.
Use the actual number.
We should be using the actual number.
What does that come up?
I have it, so.
Is that the 287?
254, 546, divided by 10 months, 12
So
months.
Mayor,
1.03, 314, 618. No, that would be like way under. Because she's going to come in significantly under budget.
Well, that's because I think we planned for the quadrennial, because this is the quadrennial still in that period, right? This year?
This is 23.
23.
So we did the quadrennial, and
Well,
still
we're
she's
in the
going to come in
quadrennial,
under
that's why
budget.
we had budgeted that high number.
3% across the board.
It isn't?
It is.
If you do 330, from what number though? The budget number or the actual number?
It'd be from the budgeted number.
So if you take the budgeted number, which is 331,641 times 1.03.
I don't know if that budgeted number covered everything that we have in here for the new year. So I have each individual person that flow has for that department, and she individually does it.
That's confusing.
No? It's pretty straightforward.
Well, we don't have the breakdown of that, so.
No, you don't have the
Yeah.
breakdown of that or from the prior year. So I can look at, let me look at prior year's number, because that could be where the difference is.
Yeah. I just want, you know,
I know what you're saying.
I'm not a
Right,
fan of like
yeah.
doling out too much money either, but
No, I understand.
Yeah.
No, I thought the
agree.
number,
I
I thought
agree.
the number I looked at from Flo was 3%. I was looking at.
Yeah, it is 3%.
I think they should be at 5 or 6 personally, but that's, I mean, I think
Kinda
that's
right.
the discussion we had last year.
that's kind of what I was thinking again, or four, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
maybe
it's-
not 5, current environment, maybe 4. I mean,
Okay, so.
I'm all for that.
I mean, I agree with you. I just look at the salaries, because I know in 2 years it's gonna take a major jump. That's where I'm looking.
I didn't bring the individual breakdown that Flo gave.
So
me,
the actual, I have it,
but- Okay.
and it shows all 3%.
so if you did 4, what would that turn that number into then, since we don't have the ability to work backwards from these numbers?
This is from the year prior, but see, this number is different. So this is the actual from the prior year, and then
The
this is
287.
budgeted. So something was taken out. Oh, the 5,000 next what's taken out. Okay, that makes sense. Because it comes up to the, we took out the 65% this
You
year.
added
I'm sorry?
forget the title of the person, I'll wait for them to finish.
So if I go to, this is 2024's. And she's showing 341, hold on. Where's my calculator? We have 343, 475. 338, 475.
I don't have a problem with 5.
All right, so the new payroll number would be 341, 859.
See, that's still,
I mean, you have to pay people fair. That's fine.
That puts you at 4%.
What was that number, Doug?
341.
341, 859. That's for 4%.
So you're talking $3,000.
Yeah, it's about 3,300
Right.
bucks.
forever, and it's compounded each
Right.
year.
Well, correct, well, but still, if you
Well,
want
but
to
I think
keep
if
good
we
people,
did- If we had 2 years at a 5% increase, and then maybe it tapers down, or I'm sorry, in 1 year 5, 1 year 4, then you go back down to 3, I mean, hopefully it would have caught up a little ground.
Well, it's all gonna come out of the reserves, so you're just gonna continue to smash the reserves down. Because we can't take anything out of the budget, we're pretty much, I mean, the
We've gone-
expenses that we have are pretty much the expenses we have.
The assessor budget comes out of the town fund, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
I mean,
But there aren't any line item expenses. I mean, we can try to save, correct, I understand that. But
Well, you could-
ultimately, for the budget, it would have to come out of
The way you could do that
the reserves.
is you could take that 5,000 out of, get rid of overtime. She's never used it.
yeah,
May do that
And
too.
put that into your salary then.
or, yeah, so just put the entire 5,000 into the salary line item, and then she can give raises as fit, and still probably next year come in under budget.
Great. That's wonderful.
That's my opinion, John, what do you think?
no, I agree, you gotta take care of your people. I mean,
So we
it's
just
bottom
zero.
line, you gotta take care of your people, or you're gonna disappear.
Gary, just high level, like, as we're looking at this stuff today, what is your goal as far as the town fund reserves? How many months do you feel is appropriate? What are you trying to get to? What's your objective?
We're pretty close to it with 9 months, but a little bit closer to 12, a year's worth.
At minimum of 6.
One disaster on the river is gonna wipe us out.
Yeah.
I mean, you have high water this spring for some reason, or something like that, and we've gotta start pulling out all the stops. We don't have any money in reserves to run a place. So that's kind of my concern, is things of that nature, and that, I understand the salaries, what you're saying, yes, but, if you look at salaries as proportional to the expenses and what we do, they're awful high. I mean, I look at it from.
We're at what, 86%?
Well, roughly. I look at it, so in your business, I don't know, you know, in the banking business or whatever else, you know, they look at salaries as a percentage. So I think kind of looking at this as a business, we have to look at what percentage is salaries versus what percent is expenses in getting the job done. We're not really selling a product, so there's no profit coming in. It's all the taxpayers paying for all of this. So every increase you give, at some point, we're gonna have to go back to the taxpayers and ask for it.
They've already voted to restore things to where they were.
Correct.
And I know we're not
We're
talking
already
about
there.
the elected official salaries today.
We're pretty close to being there. So
Yeah,
next
but
year,
we're
next year, isn't it, we're at 1.6, and wasn't it 1.8 what we were drawing in back
Oh,
before it
no,
was
we were
spent?
drawing.
But what you're drawing in now is based on more households. So it's still less per person.
Right.
Understood, yeah, our effective tax rate went down.
But they voted, what was the vote for specifically? To restore the elected official salaries to what they were, or to restore the levy to what it was?
To restore the elected officials'
Official
salary.
salaries, that
Correct.
got cut first
Okay.
before the levy got cut.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
levy got cut 2 years
You're not-
after that.
We're here discussing the employee salaries.
Correct. I know for Mary, and I'm saying like, this is not gonna cost us anything extra because of Debbie's
Yeah, because of the.
call out. It's a great idea. But, there's a lot of tough choices we have to make. If you don't have employees, like, nobody here has anything to do without the people. So I'm just looking to make sure we don't lose people. And again, Debbie's call out with the overtime is a great idea, saves money. I mean, I'm sure there's other things we
It's a
can.
fine walk between losing people and needing more people. That's the walk that I've tried to walk right now, and that's hard for me in the township office. Now, that'll change. Whoever the next elected official is, and they're here full-time, should they choose to work full-time, you'll gain about a half a person maybe. So that's a half a person you'll gain on the town side. That means being able to go out and look for more grants. So my philosophy is, I'm going to look for every grant that I can get, so that I can do things that the people want, and also figure out how to pay our folks to continue to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
That's the plan, but I don't think it's implementable in 2024.
No, it's not. I'm just, again, my question was just, what was your objective as far as the overall reserves? Because I know that that's something that has been
Yeah,
concerning to
it's
you.
11, 12 months worth of reserves a year is a nice number to have. 9 is a very great step from where we were at 5 last year.
Yep.
Absolutely.
What's the max we can have? I forget that number.
2
2.5.
years,
It's 2 years ago.
2.5.
2.5.
Yeah, it's 2.5.
2.5. We're not gonna be
Yeah,
there
it's
anytime
fine.
soon.
2.5 years?
Yeah.
Yes.
sure. But see, we've had floods in this region before.
Understood.
And I remember we went through, put sandbags, and I went through that whole process at the time. It didn't cost us that much money. Did you see any concern about that, Gary?
Well, my concern
It
is
does cost us
Well,
money.
it cost us money,
if,
correct.
if people's homes are underwater and they need a place to stay,
Then it's a
we're gonna have to open this up and staff it.
We had to do that.
And that's gonna cost, I would assume, I don't know how many people, but there's a cost to that. We could model it, obviously, if you put 100 people in here.
But I think a lot of that came out of the road districts, the sandbagging and all of that. A lot of that came out of the road
The
districts.
housing
Right.
portion
But
and,
the housing and all that came out,
Correct.
right, out of GA and stuff.
yeah.
Again, I lived it just like you did, Gary. I don't recall it being all that big of a crisis. I mean, of course,
It was
it's all
huge,
possible.
yeah.
I don't, and the one thing I don't wanna do is come across as a town crier, but I also believe in carrying some bank to be able to do things that come up. And, you know, we'll get into those as they come up when we talk across here, you know. For instance, you have a bus that breaks down and there's an unexpected expense that we didn't have calculated in. And then now we're looking at ways to correct that in the future so it never happens again.
That's a discussion for down the road.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So those are the things. They're also wanting us to expand the bus service. I've got what we have in our budget here. Do we want to expand the bus service? I think that you can sit here and debate, if you pay a driver $20 an hour versus $16 an hour, are we going to be able to get more bus drivers and keep them? I don't think you're paying them 23, 24, or they're still not, they can't find enough bus drivers, so.
Gary, I agree,
think
we're talking about Gary's budget here.
Yeah, but he asked me about mine.
All right, so
The way the way I see this, next year, Mary should be able to cut a body, because we're going to cut Drenio this year. So we're not going to need these bodies for another 3-4 years.
but what she's had,
Wait, you're not gonna need the staffing in 3 or 4 years?
No, in next quadrennial, I'm sure you will. But I'm just saying, I have to assume that this year is going to be one of your busiest years you've had in 4 years.
2023, the taxes that were already turned in.
Correct.
That was the.
We're through the assessments for the quadrennial.
Then on top of it, when the assessment becomes full-time, I'm assuming, again, I'm making an assumption, and I shouldn't, very likely would cut that half a body.
the
I
part-time.
mean, that's where I'm coming from.
So here's, the staff we have right now we're really catching up on a lot of things. We have a lot of new construction. We have a lot of properties that haven't been walked yet. We're getting through those things. But, and even though I'm not here 40 hours a week, I'm here a lot. And
That's not the question.
no, I know. I wasn't saying that,
Yeah.
it's just that
Yeah.
the fact is, I am a working assessor. There's lots of other things that happen. The staff, and I have, I don't know, I have a couple. The only person I think that might be retiring would be one of my secretary, one of my staff, and if she leaves, we'll probably roll other people into that position, or the part-time person, or whatever, but that's the 3 field inspectors are really important. My 2 deputies, we were down in appeals and we were still slammed as far as time, just because of the big changes in values. So they're not easy properties. It's not, we're gonna continue to have new construction. We've still got Stonewater going like crazy. And there's going to be other apartment buildings, right over here.
That's
And in
progress.
Johnsburg. So there's more. It's not like we're not gonna have work to do.
How much could be accomplished with a different process? Meaning that, have you benchmarked your process against other townships as far as how long it takes to do an assessment? Understanding they're all different, but meaning that, is there other avenues that we should be looking for in the future to speed up your catch-up and speed up the process for evaluating homes?
If there is, I don't know what it is. I think not every property takes a lot of time, but there, when we're looking at especially commercial properties and waterfront properties, and it's when sales come in and Stonewater, those are not necessarily hard to value because they're all new prices, but it's the work to get the information and get all of those things done. But the market changes so much, and there's way too much, should I say, I don't know. I think we do a great job. Some properties just take longer than others. Some assessors aren't going to do it the way I do it, but I don't know. The answer is that's the shorter answer.
That was an unfair question from the standpoint of the other half of the job is looking at stuff like that in the future. Is how do that's my task when I get here, or when the next supervisor gets here, is how do we streamline the process in the county between the road district and what we do? the process has been the same for 10 years, 15 years, whatever it is. There's gotta be new efficiencies out there that we should be investigating. And I think that's our job as the leader, to go out and investigate the efficiencies. That's part of our job. And that's why, you know, when it comes to the efficiencies of funding, not raising the levy is the best thing to do, is to go out and find grant money. I don't know, and have not run across, is there any grant money available for doing assessing?
Not
I
that I'm
wouldn't
aware
think
of.
so, yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
I
I don't
wouldn't
think
think
so.
But, so those are kind of that's where I'm at, is that I understand where her budget is, but I'm also with John from the standpoint of, it's probably got to hold pretty firm where it is. We can't really continue to grow it. We've got to look at efficiencies at some point down the road.
Well, and all I would say to that is like you said before, we're not producing a product. In my department, the product is the assessments, which, you know, it's an ever-moving target.
Correct.
And it's just people intensive, and there's a lot of opinion. I mean, the Board of Review will send me out to look at a property because they think, you know, well, go look at it. I mean, there's a lot of opinion and that kind of stuff in it.
Yeah.
So it's not, I don't see that changing. And the thing that would change would be the people, making sure that we can keep them and keep within,
Sure.
you know, and that, some of these other costs are not gonna increase that much. They might, but those are kind of out of our control. But I don't, believe me, we try to do these things as quickly as we can, but some of them just, you know,
Understood.
take a little more time. And I certainly invite you all to come sit with me when I'm going through one of these. Or do you hear me yelling in that room?
You're a couple walls away, so
A few times, I'm sure.
All right, so then, John, is there a consensus to take the overtime budget and move that to the salaries? Do we want to cut it in half and move that portion to the salaries? Do we want to get rid of that and leave the salaries as is? I mean, as it is today, Mary's budget is going down by approximately $10,000 a year.
that was due to.
I don't have a problem with that, Ed. Going on to Gary's point, is there a benchmark as far as how many houses we assess a year, or how many carry over? I mean, I know you assess the values of homes, that's what we're there
Saying
for.
like a target?
Yeah, is
or
there
like
a target of how many homes we
goal?
assess a year, or percentage, or,
We,
and how do we stand?
Okay, so we walk certain neighborhoods every year, and every, you know, so we know for this coming year, we're already starting to walk certain neighborhoods. We haven't gotten through the entire township in my 10 years here. I don't remember how many, we've done quite a few. There's years where we've gotten 3 or 4 done. In 2015, we did waterfront, there's 800 homes. It just depends on which neighborhoods we pick, and generally that's because they get picked in some ways because there's a lot of sales and that the values have to be corrected, so sometimes we have to rewalk a neighborhood to make some changes, but I'm not giving you a really good answer. But
No, I guess what I'm looking for, how do we measure productivity in your department is what I'm looking for, I suppose, if it can even be done, compared to other tax assessors. I mean, you might need more people down the road, but we don't know that.
No,
So I guess I'm trying to figure out, how do we gauge?
I know that.
Yeah, you're saying like if it gets to a point where now each person is doing 5 a day or needs to do 6 a day to keep up, like that
Right,
shows
how do we gauge
demonstrates
that?
a need for an additional head. Yeah.
How do you gauge that?
But it seems like it's, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No, go ahead.
so you said that there are some neighborhoods you walk every single year. Is that because?
No, I'm saying, no, yeah, well, we do certain we're still catching up on neighborhoods that have not been walked.
Correct.
Since I've been here.
But then you said there were others that you walk every year.
No, if I did, I didn't mean to say it that way.
Okay.
That if there's a change or a reason, because there's been a lot of changes, we may have to go back to a neighborhood
Okay.
to catch up. But we try not to do that because we do have a process in place where when a home sells, we go to that home, whether we've been to that neighborhood or not. So that hasn't happened, but at some point, we're gonna, you start going back to the neighborhoods you walked 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And the problem that we're still encountering is that that wasn't done. When I took over 10 years ago, there were, we're still looking at black and white pictures from the 60s.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot more activity. I think 3 field staff work really well. My 2 deputies I need for sure. The only places, if I was going to cut someone or have to, it would be probably somebody who's retiring that I might not replace as a, there's a lot of work for them. They are busy all the time because we have permits and sales and things like that that come in every single time. And we do a lot of things that a lot of townships don't do. We send out letters to new homeowners and make sure they know what exemptions they have. It's just, and to your point, Gary, some of the stuff that the county has helped us with some technology to help speed up some other things. Where my secretaries have access to the information to pull on a daily basis. They don't have to wait to get it from the county. They've invested in a program to identify people who shouldn't be getting other exemptions and stuff. So, but it's constant. And the only other thing I can say is, at a state level, when they look at our numbers and the values, there's a coefficient of dispersion, which is, I'm not going to explain that whole thing here, but basically it tells you where you're in line with the distribution of values, and they like it to be under 15 in a jurisdiction this size, and this year we are actually at 14 something. We came down from 17 something. We did an awful lot of work in the quad. So it's just, but every assessor, I can tell you, every assessor in this township does things differently. But I think what we're doing is excellent work. We're getting things done, and when we can cut things, we will.
So that was the question I had in my mind, and that's an interesting comment. So you have 19, or what is it, 17 townships, I believe it is?
17 townships.
17 townships. All 17 of you do it differently.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow. And so you have, I don't want to sound like somebody else who used to sit here, but you have X amount of townships across the state. You would say that all of them do it differently? 90% of them do it differently? I'm just trying to understand, is that what makes it so unique?
Well, it's how your process. Like, we have a process in place that, we go out on a new sale, we go out on appeal properties, we go out on permits where we're adding things. We have, I know that was not in place when I got here. Okay, a lot of assessors, I don't know. There's a lot of smaller jurisdictions that do different things, but the basic information gathering is the same. You have to get the information, you have to get the measurements, the pictures, that kind of stuff.
Process is fine, and I'm all for sitting with you one day, if and when I can ever do it. I would love to watch one from the beginning to the end, but understanding, my business and other things, there's things called web crawlers and all this other stuff. They can go out to Google Earth and snatch a photo and update a photo and things like that. So that's where I'm not a super techie, but if you get the right folks, you can get techie to where you can do some web crawling and say, okay, go to this area, go to Springdale Estates, crawl Google Earth for all the photos and give me a picture of the front of the house. Might be a year old, but you're never going to be. In your business, I don't believe you'll ever be 100% caught up to the day.
Well, and as far as technology, I could give them all like an iPad, and we've talked about that.
Yeah.
That would cost money. They take pictures, they have to come back and they have to upload them into the computer. If they have it do it on an iPad, they can do it automatically.
Yeah.
That's technology that would change their time, that would allow them to go to more properties. Part of the problem is sometimes people don't want us on the property. And so I try to send people as infrequently as we need to. if I have someone just going and taking pictures,
Yeah.
we need all the pictures, so it's
All
kind
four
of.
sides.
Yeah, and we don't go on the property without knocking at the door, so, it's just, I think our process works very well. They don't even, I mean, people talk about drones. We're not gonna have drones going over people's property, that would be,
Next thing you know, you're in an airspace war.
I mean, there's technology that, but we do have other ways of, if we have a property they won't let us on, we do have aerial things and we guess. We happen to measure better than we guess, but if that's what they want us to do, we'll guess. So, again, it would cost some money, some capital, if that's down the road to look into doing that kind of stuff.
Well, that's kind of the conversation starter for later, is
Yeah,
that we
I'm
need to
just-
start planning for that.
Yeah, it would just mean that they could get to more properties without having to come back and upload everything. They have to, the system that way. That would be one thing. So.
But Adam, to your point, I don't have a problem taking the money out of overtime.
Or do we split it? Do we take 2,500, put it back to the bottom line, 2,500, put it towards the
No,
budget?
that's
That would
Mary's
be-
opinion.
Oh, I can put it all in,
What I would like to do is take what she needs for the 4% increase and then use the balance for the difference for Medicare and IMRF.
Well, I don't, we're talking 5,000 she's got that for overtime. She hasn't used overtime.
No, she needs to go
That's
to.
what I'm talking about.
She needs to go to 341, you get 59.
For
Right.
the 4%, because you guys want to go with 4%, right? So that would be a $3,400 increase, and then I would take the balance and use it on IMRF
Yeah.
and Social Security, Medicare, and unemployment.
So 1616 is left of the 5,000 then.
Right.
And I'm not
I
suggesting,
would just adjust the numbers correctly, and then we'd have a new balance.
and I'm not suggesting you give everyone 4%, Mary. You know the people better than we will. I mean, if
If
it's
there's
gotta be a
someone
sliding
you want to
scale.
give 5%
Yeah, it's gotta
because
be,
they.
it's gotta be a
Right,
sliding, right.
giving me the
Right,
opportunity to adjust things
Right.
accordingly.
Right.
That's
So to
great.
be up to is what it is.
I'm
Up
sorry?
to, she's allowed so much money.
Pool of
increase,
money.
Pool of money
Doing
for
it.
increases.
Okay.
So
that's-
Mary's got,
The only one I can't increase is money.
you're right, we'll take care of it.
Correct.
We can't either.
It's a separate line item.
How'd that happen?
Not even, not even.
Separate line item.
How'd that happen? But I think you understand where we're going.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that's great. I think that's, and there are, yes. I get that.
All right, so that's what I will base that on.
And you said
Alright.
you're gonna use that to bolster the increase in the INRF and the,
Social Security, Medicare, and unemployment.
yeah.
No, what,
She's still down, even without that, her budget is still down proposed from what was
Right,
last
because the
year.
health insurance went down.
Yeah.
right,
Because
that's
she's
what it
got
is.
somebody not taking it now.
But Deb, I don't understand, why do we have to move the money to IMF and what am I missing?
Because as that
Because
goes up, those go up.
it's based off of salaries.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
the salary doc makes sense, the doc is being done, sorry.
Alright, so we're good on that section then?
Yeah.
I don't have any
All
more
right,
questions
no
on the
more
top
questions,
section.
Mary, you're done.
Well, no,
No,
I think
no.
we got some in the middle section.
You got the middle
Oh,
section.
sorry.
If I remember correctly, the appraisal line item, Mary, was that for commercial appraisals? That 8,000 was put in for last year?
It's for any appraisals, but typically a commercial appraisal costs significantly more.
Okay, so we used $2,300 in 2021, zero the next year, 500 the year after. We budgeted for 8,000 and used zero. Can we cut that number in anticipation of it being similar to other years? Or would that put you in a detrimental spot?
No, I don't, I mean, we could cut that. I would like to keep it around 5,000, just in case. What happens at this point is anything that comes in from the, at the local level, if they don't like it, they can go to the state. If we go to the state and there's significant reason to get an appraisal, it's going to cost close to 5,000, but,
Yeah, and I'm just going on the track record that you've
Yeah.
had, since,
yeah, I just hate to lose
running.
it because I don't wanna use it if I don't have to, but I don't.
well, and if we trim that 3,000, that then, I have another question on the training piece, but other than that, that actually brings your proposed budget this year in line with what was proposed last year, so that is not an increase either.
Okay.
So you're gonna put that at 5? Is that what you're talking about, or what? The
If you think 5 is good,
at least 5. I mean, we can cut it down from 8 to 5, that's fine.
okay. And then the training piece, $2,000 budgeted for last year, you spent $1,040, and then this year you're asking for it to go up to $2,500. Are you expecting changing something in your process or your?
There's more bills that are coming through this month. That number is not totally up to date, so she will be right in line with what was budgeted.
Okay.
The classes, each of us
We just did
will be taking 2 classes, they've increased their costs,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, just because I was looking at the 1,040, that would come out to like 1,200 for the year.
Yeah, so now I will update these numbers after the next board meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have any other questions on that section then, other than, I mean, just some of the.
No, I'm good, that's reviewing it.
I'm just looking at the actual for this year. Eric, I assume the cars are getting oil changes?
That what?
Your cars are getting oil changes and maintenance? 'Cause
Yeah,
there's
and
nothing
we've been
in
able to,
year to date.
we do take.
Oh, you're doing Jimmy?
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
okay.
he does
When it works, it
we pay
works.
for
When
the
it
parts
doesn't, it
and stuff, and if we can't, I think there's been a couple of things that they couldn't do, but if we can do it here, we do it, we just pay for the
Perfect.
parts, so.
The only thing that jumps out at me is the clothing. We went from $90 to $1,000 in a couple of years.
That's because we,
Got new
Am I missing
people.
clothes? Oh, down there.
6 people, $1,000.
well, that's, again, that's what,
It's all kinds of stuff.
we, where is that down here?
Clothing.
Oh, I see, it's under clothing, yes, I see. Because we weren't, what we did was we decided to, because of the biggest issue for that is the field staff. And they go through jeans and boots and things like that, that we give them $250 each to buy some clothing, equipment, boots, things like
So
that,
that's a per.
per year.
Right,
Per
okay.
year.
And that
Makes
was,
sense.
so that, and that's the biggest, that's
Makes
really
sense. Makes sense.
So 600,000 and 70, no, yeah, $600,273.
Where you-
We total, because we took that 3,000 out, but the other one was just rebalancing.
Pretty much, yeah, that's what it'll be right around there. Might be a little less.
I'm okay.
All right.
Good.
Gary, you okay?
Yeah.
We all have to vote until we honor it.
No, I'm fine. We can move on.
Okay.
Guess it's my turn.
All right.
Can I go? Do you need for
We're
anything
done.
else? Nope.
Beat you up enough.
You're good, Mayor.
Thanks.
Should we do
All right,
parks
you
now,
guys wanna
John?
go over the
you
revenue
know
part
that's
of
like the
first,
other
or
ones.
what do you wanna go?
Yeah, you
over?
know that's like that with the parks.
Well, I'm just saying,
You
because
know-
Eric is here.
All
Yeah, I
right,
know. I agree.
parks it is.
Have a good night, thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, good night, Mayor.
Good night.
Does that page say parks? Yes, it does.
Parks is page 8 and 9.
I thought I heard John say he wants
If
0
they're
hours
marked.
for the parks.
Be nice.
guys want to do.
Donation. Come by the parks, $50.
Donations, you know, she works in different
Sell
Home Depots.
tickets.
Can't
Oh, that
always-
was it. There was a Lowe's grant that showed up in my email box today.
I sent it to you.
Did
Wasn't
you?
it nice of me?
Did you tell Gary about your
I sent one
championship
to
person
him.
at Home Depot?
That's
sent
what I just
one to
said.
Eric, too.
I don't know if you heard me or not.
Change person?
Well, Jerry doesn't work at the local Home Depot anymore. She works at the one in Foxley.
Oh,
And
okay.
I have not met the new manager at the local Home Depot yet. I will try to make it a point to introduce myself to her, but I don't know if we'll get any more grants from Home Depot.
And they owe us some.
But are they gonna finish what they did?
Oh, yeah, you already
Okay.
got those PO, I mean, you already got the certificates, whatever they call them.
Yeah, but they still gonna come out and pay for it? I mean, if they don't, I mean, my
No, no,
guys
no,
will
as
just
long as
come
you
out
got
and pay it. Okay,
I forget what she calls it.
yep.
All right, where do you guys want to start?
I don't know. We have to study this.
We don't know how many employees there were in prior years, but what caused the large reduction in salary here?
I I could tell you.
What caused the large reduction in sales?
Yeah, last year we,
So you cut ahead.
You lost what's his name?
We lost,
Terry.
yeah, we lost Terry.
You lost Terry.
There you go.
are we not replacing?
Sitting
We
next to
got
him.
it right over there.
Oh,
He's doing double duty.
He was
Oh,
doing
I
double
gotcha.
duty then, yes.
He's doing double
Okay.
duty.
Okay.
So,
So
let's jump to the one that I wanna get out of here real quick is, and I know it's not about this budget, but, the bus and how that whole deal came down, that, it's gonna be a significant expense. And after talking to a bunch of people in the industry, I've got 30 years in the industry, so I know when I see some bullshit in a quote.
I keep telling you some too.
Yeah, so, that first quote that we received is high. We're getting a second quote, and then, it may even come in-house, we don't know.
You're talking
Because,
about the bus.
talking about the bus that needs a new camshaft.
The camshaft, right.
And so you guys understand, Pace, during COVID, was not getting buses from the manufacturers as they normally got buses. So the buses started to creep up in age. This is an age failure. And unfortunately, to get buses so cheap, it's a triple net lease, essentially like real estate, where you gotta pay for everything. And reading through the contract and everything, I have to fix the bus, or the township has to fix the bus before we can even give it back to them. So we're stuck with the expense. Once the camshaft gets in it, we'll drive the wheels off of that one until that'll be the first one gone. But they are coming back. I believe we've gotten a newer bus. So,
The one that we had is like a loaner almost while this one was down?
no,
we're not gonna-
we're not getting a loaner. They don't have one available, but we're not paying the lease on the one that's down. We negotiated that.
Yeah, swap it basically then. For
Yeah,
the
so
time
we're
being.
down a bus.
We're down to,
Instead of
we usually have
four, we have
four, we have
three.
three now.
Oh,
So we're, as far as rides go, we're full. I mean, from that standpoint, we're pretty much on a full basis.
But it's only $100 to get a bus a month, right? You
They don't have a bus.
They don't have a bus to give me.
Oh,
That's what happened during COVID,
that's
they were
a
bringing buses
different
back in.
problem.
Yeah. So,
She knows we need one, we're just kinda waiting and seeing if a different park district swaps something out, or they might buy one on their own, some of these larger park districts
You
are
can ride my
buying.
car.
What happens, so how many miles are on the bus with the blown motor?
150, 160?
No,
So-
less than that, 15.
You spend the money,
115, it's over.
you spend the money and you said, we'll drive the wheels off of it.
Yep.
Would it not be better, well, as soon as they have buses available, it would be better for us just to turn that one back over and say, give us a new bus?
She knows that. That's what we're trying to do, is we want to turn our buses. What I want to do is sit down with her and talk to her about getting buses, meaning that when they rotate buses and they get back into their program, Eric, I think you told me that we get them at a younger age, less miles, and they used to pull them out before they got to 100,000. But they just didn't have buses during COVID to do that.
Yeah.
My question has more to do with maintenance than anything, because an engine shouldn't go out at 125,000 miles like that.
It's a,
160, and they're just pushed all day.
I thought you said.
no, it's 150.
It's like 115.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, yeah, right.
150,
yeah, right,
Yeah,
115.
I mean, our mechanic did say, he said it is common with that motor, it's got like a 6-liter engine in it, and it's common with that motor and from Chevy.
Well, my question is, again, more the maintenance, like, there's someone checking the oil every morning.
Correct.
Are doing, it's documented?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, they do a pre-trip inspection.
Yeah, pre-trip, post-trip.
Yep, they do all that, yep.
Okay. I mean, that's.
And it goes in every 25 to 3,000 miles if it's somewhere in that range, you know. we're
Somewhere in
changing it out.
$9,000, just under 9,000.
Wouldn't it be cheaper just to get a junkyard motor that's like relatively low
Give
mileage?
it back to them.
No, I'm saying, I mean, that happens all the time. You know, you go to a shop and your motor's blown, they'll find a used motor to put in
That's for them
more
to
cost
decide.
effectively than rebuilding the existing one.
The problem with these buses are, and why it's so much money, is that they're shoved underneath the front of the cab.
Yeah.
Like, so they gotta
Sure.
take the whole front of the front end of the bus
Also
off,
off to put the engine in.
pull the motor out, do the work, put it back in. If it was like a normal truck,
Yeah.
pop the hood, pull it off, you could do the work, put it back in. You know, they're almost, I think that quote was like 38 hours of labor, you know what I mean? Almost a week. Wow. You know, and they're covering, you know, they're
There's
just
a couple
estimating
extras
it,
in
just
there.
covering it, you know, so.
Again, my concern was someone doing a pre-trip project.
Correct.
I mean, it's what my concern was.
No, those are being done.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the budget for next year. Let it rip.
All right,
So,
what questions do we got?
well, obviously, we're gonna have to start with 4%.
I think we should go to the 4%.
Where do we get that?
Well, I think if you look at the line item for overtime, we used $135 this current year
Right.
versus the 6,000 proposed, you could do the same thing.
Same thing.
The only thing with the parks overtime, I need to have some overtime in there just for when the guys do have to work or come in off hours when there's snow.
We agree
The
with that,
most-
Jeff, but you're not gonna
yeah,
use a
the most
couple
we've used-
$1,000s for the park.
Well, the most we've used it on in the prior years is 3,079.
Gotcha.
So what if we kept 3 in there?
I mean,
That's
you're only
it, yeah.
talking
Okay.
for 3
I agree
employees.
with that. And the only reason why I asked for the raise last year, guys, is that I was new taking it over, so I didn't get where I was at with it, so.
That's good.
Yeah, if you run the numbers, then I
Yeah,
bet
no.
you come under $2,000.
I'm okay.
So that covers that.
Okay.
Do we need, then we also need to worry about the Medicare unemployment IMRF increasing, right?
It's not gonna be huge, so I'm not too
Right.
worried about it, cause I can always, I can bring down the HRA to 60% instead of 65 if need be. To make up that difference. Cause we're not talking big money
Yeah.
there. That's why I said there'll be extra with the assessor budget. Alright, do we wanna go to the middle part then?
Do we need to bolster the budget for vehicle maintenance considering issues with the buses?
No, that
That's
does
different
not,
vehicle.
that doesn't fall into this
Oh,
budget, it
different
falls into
vehicle.
the.
This is just the park equipment.
Correct, this is just the Parks Department.
It does bring
So
a
no.
question up, though, that I had, I think I brought this up before. Where do we stand on the age of our equipment? When do we plan on replacing some of our vehicles? That's what I think we need to see.
So, we have that list, and that's one of the things Gary will be talking about with the reserve stuff, is that we will work on a committed fund to do that
You understand what
kind
I'm
of
saying?
replacement.
In other words, a park vehicle's, it's
Yeah.
5 years old. When we
They're
replace it?
very well maintained, so
Oh, they
he
look
doesn't
it,
think
I
that
don't-
there's
Yeah,
gonna be any
I mean, our
issues.
trucks have got low miles on it.
We talked about
I
it.
mean,
Yeah. I mean, that's the only concern I have. as far as
Well,
vehicles.
we're constantly having that conversation amongst the two of us, is that, yeah, we're watching it.
Yeah, so, yeah.
We're watching it.
All right, all the utilities were upped, just so you know.
Well, I'm looking at town hall maintenance.
Yeah, I was literally just gonna say something about that. What does that include?
That's like a huge
All right, so
jump.
that increased because we are now, instead of paying to have one of our employees was being paid to clean,
Pretty
we are
clear.
now brought outside vendors for the
Did
office.
we lose an employee or
No, that employee
just a change in,
right, just a change in venue,
well, then did that money came out of the salaries, I take it?
correct.
I will say, I mean, I'm sure you guys experience it more, but when I came in here in the morning to do the RC event, like, spotless, smelled clean, like, I actually remember saying like, wow, it smells like really fresh in here.
I'll make sure that, you want any special stuff?
No, it's just, I'm just saying, like,
Okay. Any other questions that you guys have at this time?
Telephone, internet?
yeah, why did we
Telephone
budget
internet's
2760,
pretty much the same.
but not use it?
There's a $300
Yeah, but we didn't
increase.
spend very, I mean,
We spent nothing this.
spent $70 last year. Now we're proposing.
What are you
20.
talking about?
Telephone and internet.
Oh, that will get transferred over to the town. We just haven't pulled it out individually. So if you guys remember last year, you asked me to split it between each department. Well, we failed doing that on a regular basis, so we're just gonna journal it at the end of the year.
I'm not sure I follow you, but like.
Well, you guys wanted to know, like, how I split it
They
between
allocated the
each.
budget, but they didn't allocate the bills.
Oh,
Correct, I didn't allocate the bill correctly.
So in the town fund, we're gonna see the bills in that column of spent money for everybody.
Right, so when you look at telephone, it's, we're like right there, and we still have 3 months to pay, so, yeah.
Then the pesticides training, $1,000?
Well, you got 2 new people going in for the training. So that has.
That's how to handle pesticides?
Yep, exactly. You get a license and all that
Yeah.
good stuff.
Any other questions? If not, we'll skip to page 9. Any questions on page 9?
Ball field maintenance, I'm accusing every freaking year.
That's down.
Yeah, we didn't
It's
do.
just because it's down, it just said it kills me.
It's, we had an abundance of material that has been
Right,
consumed by.
previous year, right,
Yeah.
I remember that. But I,
Well, again, you gotta walk a mile in the shoes that prices of fertilizer and everything were skyrocketing, so they tried to do the right thing.
Right.
but do we have to maintain, aren't we losing some of our teams to Crystal Lake or the ball fields in McHenry?
They talked.
Because when we brought them in last year, I forget what the organization was called, they specifically mentioned that they
It
might
was
move
the
to.
Mchenry Township Junior Warriors.
Yeah,
Right?
they
That's
specifically
football.
mentioned,
They mentioned that they were considering going to another field
It
to
was
practice.
still-
The football,
McCracken.
the football staying here.
It is.
they mentioned they might.
Football staying here besides like playoff games or like Super Bowl games, they'll go play at McCracken, but the majority of their games are gonna be here for, they like
They
to have
don't
their own
like to give up
space, they
that
like to do what they
home
do
field.
here. They're staying, I just talked to them the other day.
How about the baseball tournaments they used to bring here?
Still
They
do.
They still come?
Yeah, I'd say I got 5 on the books for summer.
So there's, how many days, there's 90 days in the summer, and you have, how many uses of the field? Hundreds,
Yeah, over 100,
almost more than double.
over 100.
So the fields get used.
Yeah,
On a daily, Monday through Sunday.
Yeah.
when I was a kid, we used to be in the ball field, and they were nowhere near as good as this. But what I'm saying is, we spent $27,000, well, that, I guess that includes crowd maintenance supplies as well. How much are we getting in from these organizations? Are we funding them?
No, we're not, I mean, we're getting in, we charge,
Grounds maintenance is
Yeah, I
not
understand
annual,
that, but let's-
it's
yeah.
15.
John, you're just saying you wanna
Hold
make
on.
sure that the cost of the rental fees that are coming in.
Are covering the maintenance of the field?
Hold on, I can tell you.
Well, that's- right.
Philosophical difference, but we'll talk
Oh, right,
about that as we
exactly.
go.
Well, we can percentages, I understand where you're coming
So-
from, I get it, I understand.
So last year, we brought in 11,227 out of the 15.
Yeah.
So it's costing us about 4,000.
It's not bad. It's just a number I was looking for.
There you go.
So overall, I mean, the budget's going down almost $80,000 this year versus last year. I think that's
Correct.
great.
You have to give that guy kudos. He's been
That's the
shaving
one
money
who's been-
wherever he can.
Good job, dude.
Park equipment is down at the bottom of this one, so I'll ask about it. I thought we had 130,000 in there last year. Is that number increased? Or was
No,
it 160 last year and I'm just wrong?
you're just wrong.
Okay.
Where you in?
So you're also aware that there has been a submission to CDBG
Yeah.
for the park equipment. We're waiting to, hopefully, we won't have to use any of that.
Well, so that was what I was gonna say.
Well, you'd have to use 80,000.
So that is not in this number, that
Right.
is in the town number, under,
When you say we have to use 80,000 of this, we didn't commit this to the playground equipment. It was reserved or not. It was-
We have to have some ownership in the grant. So if they're gonna give us their share, we have to cost share with them.
Okay,
Correct.
that's fair.
And that was the minimum amount that we could get away with.
So hypothetically, we could have 80,000 sitting there that we can reallocate, which would be a really good bolster then to the equipment.
all right, so if you
reserve that
guys
you're
wanna
putting
do
in.
that, then you need to put it into the capital outlay in.
Well, we don't know if
We
we're
don't
getting
know
Do
that.
it in the
We don't know
We
that.
don't know if
No,
we're
I'm just
getting
saying,
grant.
We don't know that
Well,
yet.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying, if
You
you
can't
put
do
it
that.
in.
No, we don't
You
want to do
can't put the
that yet.
grant in here yet.
We don't want to do that yet.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. This amount here,
Yeah,
if you put it in the committed fund,
You
yeah.
have to use
like
it.
I'm asking, you have to keep it there and use it there.
No, I think we should do what we
If
did
you
last
want
year,
it in
where we
the
leave it
Yeah,
as.
I don't think we
Yes.
should put it to committee.
Then you can utilize it however you want.
That's what we did last year too.
Yeah, they don't want
Right,
it.
so
Same thing
actually, we
again.
left it in contingency
Yeah.
last year.
So I think we
That's
should leave
right,
it there.
we should do it again.
I can do
Contingency.
that. I don't have it set up that way this year.
I think we are a few years away from being able to do committed funds, but I think we're all on the same page.
Right.
It sounds like that committed funds is the place to go, so we know when we're saving money, for future building maintenance or things
Right,
of
we
that
do need
nature.
to look at doing that.
Because we also need to start developing a project list, parking lot down Fox Lake Street,
Correct.
things of that nature that we've got to do. Do we want to work with the teams that play out there and start to figure out a way to light the rest of the fields?
Those are
Or-
probably all of our projects for
Yeah.
next year to put together.
Correct, but I'm just saying is that there's future things that aren't going to be in here.
Yeah, pickleball courts.
Butterfly field.
Well, actually, you play in here. I mean, you haven't started playing in here.
I never got the approval for it, so I didn't push it.
Or if there's vacant
Craig
time.
Adams' brother-in-law was gonna run it.
You do what I'm doing. You have an organization that is just asking to use this space.
Okay.
Yeah, never mind.
Any other
Right.
questions
Right.
on
Right.
this?
No.
No, I'm fine,
All
I'm
right.
fine.
Eric, we're done with you. Thank you very much.
Go back to the playground equipment. No decisions are gonna be made until the board's involved, right?
Pardon me?
The board has to be involved when it comes down to the
Oh, absolutely.
cost, yeah.
Absolutely. We have to get your approval from,
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
we'll definitely, once we know we have the grant money, it's
Right.
gonna be working with the playground equipment company to pick out the things that we want that were within our budget. We'll present something and then, whether you're gonna tweak it and then approve it, that's where we're going.
All
At least
right.
I think that's the way.
Yep,
Thank
no
you,
problem.
Eric.
Good night.
Good night. All right, do we want to look at the revenue page, or where do you guys want to go next?
GA.
All right, go to the last page of the budget, and that's general assistance.
Is it EA on there too?
Yes,
That's why it's coming up.
it all comes under GA.
All
By the
right,
way,
go ahead.
off the record, we'll talk later. But
Can't do that, but go ahead.
well, it's not about our township. It's about another township that has an elected official that's in the news because they're touting their GA funds as a $1 million giveaway.
Well, I want to hear about that later.
Yeah.
So they have $1 million in their fund. and
They don't have $1
give it
million
away.
in the fund, no. Between the township and the village of which this person is a mayor,
Yeah.
evidently the village is loaning the township money to give away $1 million in GA, but it's just for housing assistance. It's so crazy, it's,
All right, well, let's go over our budget, which is much
So you
less.
do remember my mantra, I will never borrow money as long as I'm here. That's my goal.
Hopefully it never gets there.
Yeah.
All right, so, where do you guys want to start? Where's your questions?
GA is GA. Can't do too much about GA.
And on the personnel, it's just one split. There's no part-time.
So let's talk conceptually so that you kind of understand it. It's my belief that ultimately, as things continue and progress the way they are, eventually people will end up at our doorstep. I believe that we're gonna end up spending more money on, whether it be GA, but we'll probably spend more on EA. It's more flexible funds. And I hopefully have your guys' support to where that's what we wanna do, is help those and get them back onto the tax rolls to where they're paying their fair share, is what the goal of the program is. So, from that standpoint, that's kind of where the way that we presented it is, there's a little bit of an increase here, well, there's an increase, and it's really just, we think there's gonna be more people coming to the front door.
And we know there is, because we're
Yeah.
already over budget on this year's.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be able to do the transfer within the budget, but that 25,000 you guys cut last year, I needed, because we're gonna be at least 23,000 short.
But don't you need the board's approval to transfer that money to EA?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Once you
It's
get such
within
a
the
check-
budget. It's not, it's just
It'll
line
be a
item
line item
transfer.
transfer.
It's just a line item transfer, it's not over budget as a whole.
So
they're
you need to
over,
make-
they're over in EA, but under in town budget.
No,
No, no, that's
It's all
No,
gotta
no,
be
no, no.
within.
It's gotta be
GA.
within EA.
So I'm gonna take it from the
Yeah, it's
different
gotta
line
be under
items.
EA.
I'm gonna have to take a little bit from all to get where I need to be.
Because overall, it's looking like roughly $2,000 increase from last year's
Correct.
budget amount.
Correct.
But where it looks like it's coming in,
Most of it's.
No,
made.
I got rid of the part-time person. We never got that person. I've had it in the budget for 3 years and I still have no one, so I took it out. That's where the difference is.
See, my concern is the money you have you're planning and obligating towards EA. It's going up $25,000.
but we.
It's
we
actually
eroded-
not, when you see the current number, which for some reason is not in here, but I can tell you what it is.
That was the one that we had our lively discussion on last year.
Correct.
Correct.
Correct, and I still think, I know I'm not gonna vote for that increase, but that's just me. And there's only 3 of us here, so I don't see how it's gonna pass.
I'm sorry, I'm waiting for my computer to come back up, sorry. I let it go dead.
I don't have a problem with general assistance. We're obligated for general assistance. It's a no-brainer, no choice. But my concern is emergency assistance it could dry the well if we're not careful.
So you want to turn them away?
I didn't see, it's not, again, we're obligated to general assistance. I'm not saying,
Correct, but general assistance is much tougher to get on. And so you have much higher hurdles to get on and stay on.
I'm not here to rewrite the laws, Gary.
And that's
Yeah,
why
but
that
that's
I'm
what
not
I'm
here to rewrite the laws.
That's why that line item for general assistance is also only $25,000 instead of,
And I understand that, but
150.
again, my concern is emergency assistance. I'm not,
So what percentage?
I'd rather we leave it as where it was last year, and if we need more, we discuss it at that time. That's where I'm coming from.
I would be curious, and this is one of the things I remember asking last year was, what's the breakdown of what's being,
You get that,
Provided.
you have that in that report every month.
We went there about 3 meetings ago, we went through that, when the attorney was here. Gary has the right to split that the way he wants to, correct? Or not? In other
You're
words,
talking about
no,
categories?
I'm saying
That's
like,
not what
did
he's
we,
asking.
was
Oh, I'm
it,
sorry.
I don't remember, was it more people or was it the same people more times?
No, I didn't have, and if you remember, I brought that information to that meeting, and I only had 2 people that were duplicate from prior year.
Yeah, and I didn't, yeah.
And they were different categories.
Okay.
If you-
Which was what I was saying last year.
Right.
Like, I think should be okay if they get something small, but then like, they need rent, like,
And we adjusted
You do
those
currently.
numbers. So this year so far, we budgeted 125, and we're at 131.
Wait, I just want to distinguish between GA and EA. GA can be a monthly obligation at
an
a
ongoing.
lower amount, it's ongoing. So for 12 months can be higher if they qualify there. That would be the first place that we would probably put them.
no, I understand the difference.
If they don't qualify for GA, we look at EA to see what is their issue and can we help them within our guidelines of EA to return them to the workforce quicker
Right, and that, so it's really to prevent them from becoming homeless
and becoming a
or
GA.
jobless or whatever, and then they would be on the GA rolls.
Again, we're required for general assistance, we're not required emergency assistance. And I don't.
No,
make the
but
state
this
laws.
board has said that they wanted to help the community to give people a helping hand.
Which board?
This board,
We approved $125,000.
right, that's what I'm
We're
saying,
not
this
asking
board
for more money.
has
Okay,
said they want to help.
I see what John's saying, we just, yeah.
I
so,
mean, we went to 125 and you only spent $6,000 more.
well, originally,
And I don't know how you
We
could do
still got 2
that.
more months.
oh, but wasn't it
No,
100?
again,
Wasn't it
let me
100 they were
finish, let me
asking for
finish.
150 and we went to 125?
Let me finish.
Yeah.
We approved 125, he's already at 131, with 2 months more to go. So she might jump to 150, I don't mean, I'm sorry to say she, but the administrator's gonna go to 150 this year without our approval.
Regardless.
So what,
Yeah.
so when's?
Cannot do
I
that.
can't do that
You
without
can't
your
do
approval.
that.
But
But
you
you
already
just said you
have.
could do the
No,
transfer.
no. You can only transfer up to 10%,
Oh,
okay, of the overall
But we didn't approve
budget.
that.
you're still not gonna have enough,
Peaked by law in any of the budgets.
but you're still not gonna have enough then to cover the year.
I should.
Well, if you're already,
I'm at 131 and the budget is 2 whatever, I can transfer up
If
to
you
$23,000.
go down, kind of follow the fence towards the moose,
What's the total
turn
budget?
right,
Hold on,
it's
let me
that
get to
building
the
you would
next
drive
page.
through.
oh, it's the, oh,
If you kept
percentage
going
of the
straight.
Right, so
All right.
the
Yeah.
budget
You
was
wanna prove
237,
Yeah, I was
So
thinking it was
it's a 200,
10%.
right, no, it's 10% of
Thank you.
the overall budget.
So hypothetically, let's just run this scenario out. Let's say you're given 125 again, next year it comes in at 160. Then
I would not
you
be able to
you
do
would
that without,
exceed.
I would have to get a board transfer.
And where would that money come from?
That would come from the general town fund then.
So the surplus, the month of surplus, basically, that then comes out of that.
Right, and it would only, yeah, so the board would have to approve it, or I would not be able to do it, or EA would stop, which we've done before. And then, or the board would approve a transfer to cover another 2-3 months, whatever it is.
You see
So
what
the
I'm at?
scenario then really is, there's three options. Either we stop EA when we run out of money,
We can,
we allocate the money in the budget that you speculate that you need, still potentially might go over that, but it's within the amount by law then likely that you'd be able to do up to the 10%. Or we leave it as is, and then we need to approve if you go over, if the intention is not to stop EA when we run out of money next year.
correct. And the only time you can take the full 10% if there is that much money left over in a line item. If it's already been spent, you can't transfer it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Because you guys know in March, we always do the line item transfers. That's what that's about. And we do it in every fund. Because the budgeting, when you're doing a budget, it's just a guideline. This is not set in stone. That's why you have that 10% line item transfers within the budget.
I'll agree to 125, but I'm not gonna, you might have to get another board member here to change that. I'm just, it is what it is. And I'm not trying to be, because like Debbie said, we're already over the 125. So if we go to 150, we're gonna be at 180 next year, 200 grand?
But most of
Why?
it can go, yeah.
Well, because you can go 10% higher.
No, you can't just arbitrarily go 10% higher.
The money has to be left over in
It
some.
has
And
to
it
be
will
left
be.
over.
It will be, okay.
No, it
will
wouldn't
be.
because you wouldn't have that extra. If
And
I'm
that-
budgeting 239, the most I can go over would be 23, if it's left over.
Again, I'll stay at the 125.
That's your
Exactly,
choice,
I
yes.
understand that.
You have that ability to do that. All right, any other questions on the GA budget?
I don't think we've resolved the issue at this point. Are we gonna just wait till next week or next meeting? Or-
Well, that's up to you guys. You can either make that decision now or take a vote,
Yeah,
whatever
that's
you
what I'm
wanna
waiting
do.
for. That's
Or
what
you-
I'm waiting for. I don't have any other questions on the, that GA budget.
That was the only thing.
That's
Do you have
okay.
any other questions on the GA, Adam?
No questions.
All right.
So there's a
then you can
quorum
take-
here, so-
You can take a vote.
So the question, I guess, if somebody wants to make a motion to keep what was, accept proposed amount for the line item on emergency assistance of 150,000, there could be a motion and a second, and then we would take a vote. Or if you want to wait until the next budget, we have to have, I mean, I guess the question is, do you want to act on the entire budget tonight? The two of you, the three of us?
I don't have a problem with that. This is my only sticking point. to tell you the truth.
I think given the concern around the EA piece, and we had the same concern last year, I would recommend we wait until we have the full board next budget session to make the decision on that one line item. But I
Okay.
think, like, we've gone through Mary's, we've gone through Eric's. If that's the one piece that's left, like, I think we're ahead of the game already, so.
Okay,
I agree.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so there's no action taken tonight,
No action on that.
no action taken tonight, so we'll reschedule another budget workshop.
We have one already, don't we?
Yeah.
Tuesday
Right.
before
Well,
next
you
month's
can,
board
you do
meeting.
have one for March 2nd, but we can, depending upon how we get with the rest of it,
Yeah,
we may be able to set the hearing for that and make that change at that moment. Okay?
I mean, the only thing I can add to that is if we agree to 150 and we don't go a dollar over, I can agree to that dollar amount. My concern is we're gonna agree to 150 and we're gonna go to 170 or 175. That's my concern.
but think of it like this. the entire budget overall for GA only went up by $2,000. The overall total budget,
I
right?
understand that,
If,
but it doesn't mean we should ignore the 25,000.
no, I'm trying to think of how to put this. The most that we're agreeing to spend is 2,000 more than last year, right? Because
Correct.
if you needed additional money because of an overage or excess
If
amount
I
in
need
that,
additional money, I will have to come to you guys.
but you're taking it out of that already, but that budget that's already only inflated by $2,000. You're basically saying, hey, I was able to skimp and save in these other couple categories. Can I take the surplus there and apply it to the EA?
Right, that's what I'm
If
saying.
you ran out of money total in the GA budget, it's
That's gotta
done.
come to you guys.
That would be then you're asking to take town fund money.
The town would, the board would have to transfer money from the town and do a vote on that, or we would not do EA.
Okay, so John, that is to say that Debbie cannot, the township could not exceed the overall budget for GA without our approval.
Correct.
But here's where you're mistaken, Adam. She dropped the GA budget from 30 grand to 25 grand. That's
Figured.
$5,000.
Right.
We have no choice. If we have to have more money go towards GA next year, we do not have a choice. They can go to $50,000.
Correct.
We have to spend that money.
But look at the
And
track
that's the
record.
difference.
Look at the track
We have
record.
never ever spent the
I
GA
just-
budget.
Hypothetically,
All I
I'm
was, yeah, all I was trying to do is give you the reassurance that my understanding of this is
I think
10%.
Overall budget,
and
I get what
yeah.
you're saying.
Like, overall, we are committing to $2,000 extra, even though that portion is going up by 25,000. And if it got exceeded still, the most that it could still go over is to the total of the budget as a whole. Which would mean they would be scrimping and saving something else.
But the GA is the issue. It's a numbers game with the GA. And she could put, I'm sorry to say she, the administrator put $35,000 there. It is what it is. We cannot deny any GA claims.
But okay, let's say we used all the budget.
GA still has, we're committed to GA, period.
if you run out of tax dollars, how do you pay it?
You
You
have
have
no
to sell
choice.
properties.
Yeah, you have to sell property.
Yeah, you actually have to
We have
start
to,
selling
we have to
property.
cover GA, there's no choice.
That is a true statement.
Do you speculate that the GA usage is gonna skyrocket next year and that's why you're concerned about the reduction?
Do we,
I am not.
well, you can say same thing about emergency assistance.
I think the way the system
we
is
know we
set
have
up,
the-
it's
we
not
have
gonna
the-
be GA, it's
What's
gonna
that?
be EA.
My emergency has been, I can tell emergency assistance pretty
Yeah, you
much
can-
just from, based on what I've been dealing with.
And month in, month out, year in, year out, the GA has not
Correct.
ever been used to that effect.
No,
Okay.
and GA, the reason that is because the majority of people that are getting the services from elsewhere now, the county offers more programs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The people that I have on GA right now are the legitimate people that GA was designed for.
Yeah.
I have four,
Yeah,
three.
just- you can't compare the two groups.
I'm not comparing, but I'm saying the overall budget as a whole, there's only as much money in the budget as there is in the budget. If they exceed it, they still need to come to the board.
Correct. That is true.
I'm not saying no, I just have my limits on it. I mean, if you remember last year, me and one of the other trustees didn't want to go over $50,000.
It was 50, it was split.
It was 3-2.
All right, rest of the budget.
So starting with revenue,
Do you want to go over revenue? We'll go over revenue.
unless Gary, you got something else?
No, I don't, no, I've answered my own question. I understand where John is coming from and the other trustee is coming from. And I'm not going to choose my words here. It is what it is, we'll figure it out. We'll get everybody taken care of that needs to be taken care of.
All
Where are we going, revenue?
Revenue. All right, anybody have questions on the revenue?
No, the only thing that I'm gonna point out is there's, based on the actuals, you'll see that there's some, from budgeted to,
No, they're looking at the cover sheet.
The summary, right?
oh, you're looking
Yeah,
at
they're
summary.
looking,
Okay.
you're looking at the cover sheet first, the comparison. or the revenues itself.
Are we doing revenue or summary?
I was looking at the revenues.
Yeah, I was gonna remember.
All right, go to revenue. We don't need the summary, those numbers are gonna change
Summaries, they all
anyways,
roll up,
Yeah.
yeah.
because we gotta make changes on the
Yeah.
budgets. So, any questions? Gary was gonna point out some stuff on the revenue.
So you've got like security rentals where we had 4,000, we got 900 in. And then if you look down at town hall rental, where we had 12,000 revenue and it's 24, that will get corrected. There's an issue with where the revenue's getting posted. So we need to put security where security comes in and town hall rental into town hall rental where it was getting lumped into one town hall rental. So some of that is security money that'll get broken
That
out.
was a training issue.
Yeah, it's a
so
training issue.
We're correcting it.
Yeah. That's really
Do
kind
you
of.
guys have any questions?
Yeah, athletic field fees,
Go ahead.
athletic field fees,
It's exactly the same one.
budgeted for 10,000, but we only brought in 2861. I thought it was 11.
Not all the money's in yet.
Yeah, it's been invoiced and
We're just waiting for the monies to come in.
Okay.
So why it's proposed down 8,000?
Because that's what we're expecting.
Eric just said that was insane.
So there's something every single day of the week.
Yeah, right.
I didn't catch that.
I mean, that was one of my
It
questions.
should be a
too.
minimum of 10.
Yeah, I just wanted.
I'll double check that, but yeah, I don't know why.
No, we're not giving anything away.
No,
I understand.
No, but actually, there's been conversations with those folks that use the fields about helping out where they can. I really don't have any solid details to share with you because I have not personally had any meetings with them. That's the next step, is sitting down with each one of the folks that use it and understand where they want to go and where they can assist us in.
We gave a lot of freedom down there.
Correct. We need to rein it back in.
Yeah, I mean, we gave a lot of freedom back there.
When you say
I had a learning curve too.
Yeah, what's that?
I had a learning curve too.
Yeah, I mean,
when you say we give a lot of freedom, what do you mean?
go ahead.
They're fairly liberal agreements where there's a lot of things and length of time that was given we probably shouldn't have, but that was the sign of the times because the budget was flush, so it wasn't an issue. Now that the budget's tighter, we need to work with our partners to make sure that we get everything covered. And my goal, and I think your goal too, is we don't want to increase the burden on the taxpayers. We want to reduce the burden on the taxpayers.
Or at least keep it the same.
Correct.
Right.
And that's, it's separate from this, but when we did the levy, we actually came in with an increment tax rate, or our tax rate was actually less than what it was the year before, so.
Because of the increased EAV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, this board has done a very good job in holding our feet to the fire and making sure that we're doing it economically. I mean, that's why they have, 4 people plus me, 5 people. We all think differently, we all find different things, so we'll figure it out.
Okay.
But, as long as we have agreement in the general direction we're going, and you think we're proceeding in that direction, we should be good.
all right, any other questions?
Yeah, so bus grants and bus voucher. What is the bus voucher book? Is that,
They can buy a packet of vouchers to ride a bus.
okay,
It's pre-sales.
okay. The grants. Do we know anything else from the county or like what's gonna happen next year? Are we assuming we're getting the 20 again, it sounds like? Or looks like?
We were just awarded $24,000 for this coming year. Their year started in December, so we can start using it towards it. But we were awarded from the Senior Service Grant Commission $24,000.
But that was the one that you would, was it maybe just. make sure
No,
I'm
there's
getting
another one. That was the beginning of the discussion of having us work together. If they want me to spend that $24,000 in McHenry County, I can spend it in a day.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's,
So you're not concerned like you were before that they're gonna give us some amount that has to be shared between the 3 townships?
well, it's coming.
That's what I'm asking, so does that impact?
Yeah, that
this
doesn't include
budget?
that 24,000, no. No, we all have individual grants that we were given.
Okay, but this 20,000 for fiscal year 24-25, we're certain that's coming in?
It'll be 24 now, he was
Yeah.
awarded 24.
Yeah.
I only knew of 20 at the time when we did this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could actually
I gotta
increase that
send you
to
the
24 now.
contract from you.
Yeah, send that to me.
Okay.
The only question I have is the senior bus fares. Go back a couple of years, it was more than a couple of years, we were almost at $7,000.
For what?
Fares, senior bus fares. We're projecting 5,000 for this year, we collected,
The fares went down.
I said, that's why, is this where we discussed should we increase the fares or not? That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not saying we should or should not, I'm just saying, is this the
So-
place we discuss it?
No. This would be where you would discuss it.
So the question becomes, currently the dollar is a donation. If you want to make it a mandatory, you can increase revenue that way. But you also flip off all the riders.
Yeah,
Well, hang on.
I'm just
So
saying,
wait a
that's,
second, the donation, I don't think you can with the grant. It has to be a donation then.
Oh,
It
well,
can't be
I'd have to look at
deemed
the
a
grant.
fare.
So what is the fair amount coming from them? That's the donations?
Yeah,
Why do we speculate that that number is going down?
that number's going down
Oh.
because they
Actually, it went
decreased.
up 1,000, I'm sorry.
Right, but it,
no, it's
from
gone
the
down
7,000
3 years
to
ago.
now, the reason it went down was because they decreased the price and we had a huge donation that was given just for seniors.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I do remember that.
Because they raised it to $5.
Yeah, we donated like $2,500 or something.
But now that we get the grant, we can't ask
Yeah, I
for
know.
fares, or we can for anybody but seniors.
I'm sorry, what?
Good question. I have to study.
You said if we accept the grant for
I'm gonna
seniors,
say that, yeah, then it becomes, but we're not getting it from Area on Aging anymore. and I
They
think
were the
that's
ones
where-
that did all that.
I think they're the ones that gave us
They're the
that
guideline.
criteria.
Right.
I mean,
So
listen,
now
from
we're just
a,
getting it from the county.
from a price increase standpoint, and this is like my area of expertise, and I was just even at a luncheon today for work with this. During the pandemic and the high inflation we were experiencing, it was totally possible to impose a price increase on just about anything. We all experienced it in stuff we buy.
You clean a bus, blah, 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 I did
You
it.
can't do it now. It's very hard. Even at my company, for the first time, we actually reduced our target pricing rates on one of our services that historically we've never touched. It's gone up. I've actually increased that price over the last 3 years about 17%, and I just decreased it by 10% in one swoop because our competition was crazy. Now, I know we don't have competition necessarily. We have McBride.
Yeah, but it's a different group of people as well.
I mean, but in general, any service right now with the current economic environment, it is very, very challenging to put through a price increase. And to Gary's point,
Great.
I
could
think
be
you
like
have,
thumbing our nose at the.
But here comes the question, when they pull the grants, it's gonna happen, it appears that it's gonna happen. What do we do then? Do away with the bus service?
This goes
or
back
do
to
we-
my conversation way back when of what is the bus for? Is it just for seniors? Is it for disabled people? Is it for people whose car breaks down? Like, the seniors are the ones who are on a fixed income for the most part.
Tell me about it.
And disabled probably also on some sort of fixed income.
well, the day I rode on the bus, the one lady was riding the bus for the first time because her son had to take her car in and get it repaired. She thought it was an awesome service.
She absolutely should pay a fare. That shouldn't be free for that specific situation. It's intended for people who don't have any other mechanism to go
They
somewhere.
don't, she didn't have any other mechanism. Her car was broke.
Okay, but
You,
She was a senior. She wasn't a 50-year-old guy
Oh,
just
okay.
riding the bus
Okay.
to ride the bus.
that makes it different.
Yes, it's very, I'm trying to study that a little bit,
It
you
needs
know,
to
with
be-
the surveys and everything and understand our riders and everything else. It's, fares are gonna be, and I wasn't here when the bus service was implemented, so I don't know all the history. I think the implementation of the bus service was really to be a no-charge bus service for anybody who was disabled or anybody who was 50 years or older.
Yeah, what I'm saying is anybody who's outside of that criteria, I feel like there should be an expectation that not.
I don't
We
think
are
we have
not
any riders.
servicing anybody.
Yeah,
No.
outside of that
We used to have the
criteria.
riders that used to ride them at work.
correct.
We still do.
Okay, but
Are they
they're not
If they're
disabled?
seniors or
They
disabled,
might be disabled, they might be disabled, yeah. Because I know there was a couple that would ride, they would work at Jewel, I believe it was.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they would ride the bus to work.
I mean,
But
could
why
we-
couldn't we go to Jewel and say, hey, this person's working for you, how about a donation of support for coming to work? Have we thought of that?
I mean, when the grants go away, it's like we're gonna have to earmark that from something else in the budget. I mean, or find more grants.
And that's why it's coming.
Or that's the point where we look to consolidate between the three townships and try to improve
Yes.
the efficiency.
Or you go to the taxpayers and ask them if they'll, swallow a tax levy increase for the senior bus services, which
They will,
we've done once before.
We have done it
and they
before.
will do it.
The annual meeting's coming up.
Oh, and I'll be asking the
Is
question.
it already?
Yeah.
April.
April.
Yeah, the annual meeting's coming up.
I know.
And that could be
It
brought
all
up at
just
that
starts to
time.
roll over. Every time you think you're done,
I'm certainly going to ask the question is that whoever's in the room, that is the senior bus service something that the electors in the township wish to continue? Correct.
They'll probably pack the room and answer that yes. Because they have in the past.
yeah.
Nobody showed up at last year's meeting except for the one.
That was the senior bus program wasn't on the agenda.
You put that on the agenda and they will come.
You'll have standing.
Adam, you weren't here for that.
Standing room only, we might have to reschedule
That's the other
that
thing.
live.
There's two questions that I want to ask.
This room was packed.
One is the bus version, but I also want to ask the parks version of that same question.
Should be the park for sure. We're not mandated for the park.
Correct.
See, the senior bus thing, they have a lot of control over that, the electors do.
You're saying should the township continue to support the parks?
Correct.
Or we sell them off? Like, what's the alternative? I mean,
Well,
we own
that's
this
the
property
people's,
here.
we don't have the right, they have to tell us to sell it.
The
No,
electors have
The
to
electors
tell you.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying is like, the property surrounding the building here and the park's right over there. Like, what would be the alternative? We don't maintain it and it just goes to shit?
We don't
Or-
maintain it as well.
Or do we sell it? Like,
We
do they tell us that?
cannot make that choice.
No, I know, but I'm saying like, what's the alternative to just, what if we weren't using the property, what would happen to it?
I think you'll get the same response you did with the buses, because the
Yeah, I
people
think
that
that-
do use it,
Yeah.
they're gonna come out in droves.
I'm no longer in that category because I don't have kids in any baseball, soccer, football, or anything else, so,
Grandkids soon.
yeah,
So you would
grandkids.
vote no, that you don't think the township should do it?
No, I want to keep it. I'm certainly capable, that's the other part of it, though, is the capability to maintain supporting it. So
Or
there's
then
a,
it becomes, we need to go to the partners that are using it and say, hey, you
Correct.
need to have more skin in the game.
yep,
And it's not for lack of us trying, but hey, it's either this alternative or they're not maintained as well, or.
All right, any other questions on revenues?
You know, the one thing I'll add to this, because I don't want to be a stick in the mud here. If it's that $25,000, it's gonna stop us from approving this tonight. Let's just approve it.
All right, well, let's go to the rest of this
What,
first.
what's other revenues, what's in that bucket? 284,000.
That is the hail damage money.
Okay.
We still haven't made our ask payments out of that yet,
Okay.
so that will go away. All right, ready to go to the town budget?
we did.
Administration?
Did we?
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. We never did administration.
We did Mary's,
We did Mary's, we didn't do the,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
and then Senior Express. specifically.
and
So we have-
senior.
Yeah, we have two
Right.
left, we can knock this out tonight.
I didn't say no.
Okay.
That's why I just said I didn't want to be a stick
That's
in the mud,
okay.
let's just finish.
Well,
So, same situation with the 4% increase here, I think we should do the 4% increase, it's my opinion, we should do the 4% increase on the salaries as well. But we do not have the overtime to pull it from.
So what I would suggest you do is you reduce the HRA to 60%.
From 65.
But that's then taking away from people being able to pay health claims from their HRA, correct?
No, we would still have to do it. We've never reached that dollar amount where it's been 100%.
Oh, okay.
If you see,
it's 87.
done 8,000 so far this year. So if I reduce that by 5, it's not gonna be that much.
Okay.
We still have to come back from the highway commissioners, right?
Pardon
Oh,
me?
yeah, we do have to do the highway.
He'll send it over and bring it to you for that March 2nd one.
Well, we're gonna hopefully wrap this up tonight, that's what we're just talking
You
about.
can wrap this up tonight,
Wrap
and you can
ours.
still, with the road commissioners at the, I'll give you the dates and we'll figure it out. Alright, so I can make that adjustment and,
You okay with that, Gary?
Yeah.
Your people.
okay. Let's go to the middle section then.
Deal with it on the back end.
Anybody have any questions?
Travel and mileage.
Go ahead, keep going.
Travel and mileage,
Why are we
okay,
so over budget this year?
because every single one of you who said they were not gonna go to the TOI,
did
went
not
to
go.
TOI.
I did
Yeah,
not
but
go.
we still had to pay for your hotel because you canceled so late.
No,
But then you didn't.
I wouldn't have canceled that, that was my first question. If we're gonna pay for it, I was gonna go,
So-
but it is what
I
it is
mean,
now.
not the hotel, the registration. That was non-refundable, but I was able to get your hotel refunded.
I just thought I would've went there, but it is what it is.
It is.
Okay.
But that's why, so you guys said no, not all of you were gonna go after the first year you went.
I can tell you unequivocally that I will not be going next year.
Oh, you feel
No, I'm
like
saying,
Well, I actually enjoyed this, Pat, this year. It was more
I
informative.
had fun.
You
I had fun.
You know, if you
played
wanna
a
play
little
cards,
bingo.
if you wanna play cards, we
Filipino
do
was
that.
awesome.
I mean, do you honestly tell me you learned something down there?
Yeah,
Honestly.
it was the,
It's not the cemetery stuff, right?
no, it was on, oh, which one was it? I have my notes at home. But there was one session I went to, it was actually very informative.
But was it worth the money we spent, is my question.
Is it worth, yeah, $1,200?
Yeah, is it worth the $1,200?
Just rough numbers.
Maybe.
Okay.
I would go again, but
Sure, it's free, I get it.
glamorous Springfield.
Yeah, right, we're all just
So.
dying to
just-
go there.
It was great that we went, but when the watchdogs start watching, that's one that they'll aim at first.
Correct.
So just be careful.
Well, it depends upon what they have down there.
Correct.
You know,
If there's something
I would-
for a new person, it's probably really good, because
Yeah.
there's a
Yes.
lot of good
Well,
information.
and again, coming
There
from,
is.
like, that was my second experience, but, you know, this was all new to me
Right.
as of 2 years ago, so.
you could take a lot of that online, but. it's-
Some of it you can, yeah.
Yeah,
And
you
they've gotten much better with that since COVID, but. And they are doing a hybrid next year for the TOI, so you don't have to go down to Springfield and you can do it online.
Interesting.
They tried it with 2 of the classes this year, and I guess it was well responded
Well, you
to.
probably heard
So they're looking to implement that for this coming year. I don't think we need to increase that.
No, that's all
No.
my questions on
No, I say we work with what we
Okay.
got.
Legal services, so we
Legal
budgeted
service-
20,000, we spent 13, what is that? That's not the attorney that shows up, is it?
Yes,
It is,
I thought that was a separate line item. Maybe.
no, that's the attorney's fees.
that's why I keep on looking to lower that, but it is what it is.
So,
Well, that's, we got 2 more bills coming in. because-
2/3 down!
I know that.
Well, and here's the thing, so, and we got more bills
do
coming
know
in
that.
from them because we had that PLA that went into effect, and we have to change the employee manual again. To
we
accommodate.
have 2
for
more
the
bills,
PLA.
you said, that we have
At
to pay?
least 2 more coming in with all that. So, we'll be fine with what we have in
Yeah.
there. I don't know that we need to increase it for next year.
And I was like, can we reduce it by like $2,500?
I don't think so.
No, not worth it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. And
Maybe
depends,
that's the
like you
problem.
said, you know, if anything's left over for 2,500, it's not worth it.
Yeah, that's true.
It gets rolled over to the next year, so. All right, any other,
I was just looking, a township newsletter, $1,500.
We put
We
that in
did
last
put
year
that
because we
in there.
wanted to
No, I
start doing it.
understand that, but where I was gonna go with that, it's definitely not enough if you really wanna do a newsletter, is where I was.
Do you want to do a paper news?
And we never did anything with it anyway.
What?
no, but we did start with a online that we got our prototype going with. So
How many
we'll see if
subscribers do we
can
have?
get that, continue to work with that.
Do we have any
We're
subscribers?
collecting emails, we have over 800 so far. So it would be nice if we can implement that.
Could we have the web person who does the Facebook page come in at some point and kind of run through her strategy?
Well, I
like
think we
how
need to
she-
go
Well,
there.
We'll talk about that offline.
Yeah,
Okay,
right. I get it.
all right. I was just curious because I don't know. I don't have any other questions on page 3.
Any more questions on 3? We'll move to 4.
3 is the first page.
I'm
of
not
the
ready to
study.
share my strat, well, let me rephrase that. I'm not ready to share my strategy yet.
All right,
Didn't realize you
page-
had one.
Page,
Go back there.
page 4. Any questions?
Page 4, is that the one that's got
Everything's
649,000 on the bottom?
I mean, that's a big savings since last year's budget amount.
No,
But this has
you know
been,
me. I'm doing whatever I can to cut wherever I can.
So contingency fund, this is where you moved it to the committed funds, but we're moving
Correct, so
it
now we're
back
gonna have to put it back in, yeah.
So now it's gonna be 210 in contingency fund? Cause you're moving
Was that
160?
what we wanna do, move the 160 into there? Into contingency, I can say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, it's more flexible. I mean, we don't wanna
So we.
lock it up into that project.
And if it doesn't get used, it gets rolled over.
Yeah, it gets
It's
rolled,
fine.
yeah.
All right, so I will add the
So it goes to 210 then?
Yeah, it'll go to 210.
That's a lot of money.
Well, you
Well,
got
if
a
you look at it
playground
like
in
this
there.
too,
We
that's,
should move it. We
that's
should.
4 more months of reserves technically if
Correct, if you look at it that way, if it rolls over, exactly.
True.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to Senior Express, if there's no more questions there, and I'll make that change. You guys did talk a lot about the bus, whatever
Oh, it is what it
issues
is. I
going
guess.
on. so-
salaries we need to address here then as well.
Yeah, that'll get picked up. Yes, we do.
I think more than 4% though. Cause you said like a couple dollar increase almost makes no difference. I mean,
What's 4% of $16?
50 cents.
About that.
64 cents.
Okay, well, I just,
No, that's, I was
yeah,
gonna
right,
say
that's,
it's
that's
close.
right.
I've already made the executive decision that we're going to go to $16 an hour, so
Up from what?
15.
Can you go to like 16.50?
What are the bus services paying out there for
Same.
kids?
Same.
Same price
You
for
just
saw something with the
starting
raise.
drivers, same price.
Yeah,
I just saw something
Pace is
with the
paying
raise
about the
of
same.
almost
We
20
did that
bucks.
research.
I'm not saying we should pay our drivers 20 hours. I mean, we're dealing with seniors here and elderly people. I mean, I think we should pay, should be a better quality person, if you will. I'm not saying our bus drivers are bad, don't
No,
get me
John,
wrong.
you're
I'm
reading
not-
my mind.
That's not what I'm saying here.
Yeah, you're reading my mind.
Am I okay? Yeah, I mean, I think we should pay him more, but that's just,
If I,
if you want to
You
help
have
walk
to
up the
be-
stairs, because
You
that's
have
what
to
we're
be
doing.
careful too, that some of these folks are shared in other departments.
Well, true.
So, meaning that they may work in the Parks Department and they are already drawing a salary. And we have to, because we can't keep a steady list of 6 drivers dedicated for buses, we're having to pull people in and run them part-time, so.
but that's not reflected in this budget, right? This is just the 6 people specifically that are part-time?
I don't know how to do it.
There's a $10,000 jump here.
Right, and I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure, because
and you
one of
add
them,
one
there,
of
we
them.
have one that's split right now, and I'm pretty sure, because we figure we're gonna have to keep them there. Let me pull up that budget really quick.
Excuse me.
No, that's, I have him in there.
Yeah,
now.
he's in there.
He's in there half. So, yeah, there is one that's split, and he's in there half. That's where your increase is, and that's where those benefits are. We never had benefits before either, so we split it.
Okay. What's the negative balance on vehicle maintenance?
Because we got a check-in, we just haven't gotten
The bill.
the bill yet
So that would technically, yeah.
for the repair.
I have a question. The person that splits, okay, he's got a salary for the one part, right? How does he get paid over, what are we paying him, $15 an hour?
No, he gets paid his wage.
He's getting paid his wage, he's been
Right,
here.
so then it doesn't count out the people that are getting paid from, that are just.
It is, it's in this number. The extra for him doing his half at his salaried amount is in this number, Debbie said.
Correct,
So that's coming out of that.
correct,
And that's why that number is
It's
inflated by
costing us
20 grand.
Quite a bit more to have that person.
So if we can
Exactly.
find 2 or 3
We are
part-time.
looking to change that, it's just not happened yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
It is what it is for
yeah,
right now.
Yeah.
We're working on it,
Ultimately, yes.
ultimately that will go away.
I don't have any other questions on this one then.
All right, any other questions?
Sounds like we gotta go
No.
back to GA,
No,
or John is just good.
no,
with it.
John already agreed, so now you can make the motion to approve this budget with the changes discussed here tonight.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this budget with the changes discussed here this evening.
Including emergency assistance to 150,000?
Yes, as you recommend.
Need a second?
I'll second it.
Vote.
This is voice vote?
Yes.
Probably covered.
It's money,
Yes.
it's gotta be.
All right, I mean, it's a roll call, please.
It's gotta be roll call.
All right, are you ready?
Yes.
Supervisor Barla,
Yes.
trustees Shaver,
Yes.
Macreado,
Yes,
all ayes, motion carries.
All right, I will get all these changes to and send them to you guys ahead of time. Now, you guys were set for another meeting March 2nd.
Yeah, I gotta keep going, don't
I can go ahead and get this posted.
well, that would just be for the road district, though, correct?
Yeah.
The road district you have to check with.
I? He's already been checked with, if I remember.
Has he?
correctly.
Yeah,
Okay.
So the next meeting is March 6th?
He's been voluntold to appear at the meeting.
say that again?
You could go to the other side of the building now, just probably make that meeting still there.
No, they're done, they all walked in.
All right, so you guys, do you want to set we'll set the budget and appropriation hearing for April, hold on, why is this not moving? All right, for April 11th, prior to the regular board meeting on April 11th?
Sure.
All right, so BOA will be on April 11th. And you'll have the March 2nd,
March 6th, he said.
March 2nd.
Second,
Oh, no, it can't be the 2nd because I'm not coming in on a Saturday, so it will be March 6th.
God forbid.
We'll do it at 6 o'clock again. And that will be for the final, you'll get the final report, which you already have, and that'll be for GRB and PHR.
What's that date?
It'll be March 6th
I thought you said that was.
at 6
Saturday.
PM.
You don't wanna come in on Saturday?
I can't go to Saturday.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to, we can.
No.
Doesn't matter to me. We've probably got one of his cards, but he's
All
going.
right, so I will get these changes made and I will email it out to everybody so we can get it posted for the 30 days prior. March 2nd, hold on one second, March 6th.
It's Wednesday.
You got
April
till June.
11th will still be fine.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure we can get Jim's posted in time too.
So that's been scheduled for the next budget meeting.
Right. And then we're not doing any committed funds to work through there. All right.
Any additional comments from the board? So let me back up. So item 4 was review town fund, we went through that. Item 5 was review and discuss general road and bridge. That's at our March 6th meeting. We'll do that with the road commissioner. And then Item number 6 is any board comments?
I just think we need to look, if we have the funds to look towards doing outdoor pickleball courts, do the outdoor, your,
Sheep track, that'd be
your track
fantastic.
outdoors, I mean, we need to look at that. I mean, doing $180,000 or whatever you want to spend for the park equipment is fine, but I think we should look at that and
Do more
maybe
variety.
downsize that and spend the money in other areas.
Well, if we get the grant, we'll be able to.
If we get the grant, I suspect you won't.
So, the grant's been written for a piece of park equipment.
Correct.
So-
You think you're gonna get it?
If we do,
Yeah, okay, well, then you try
if
for.
we do, oh, okay, what you're saying is the leftover funds that we
Right,
have on our
right,
own.
correct.
Never mind, yep. A little slow, got it.
Yeah, and I'll say, I've done 2 of the RC events now. The last one was 18th or whatever that Sunday was. I had about 60 people show up. Northwest Herald came out and did an article. The kids love it. So
It was great, it was a great activity that day, it was great.
if we had something outside, that would be like during the summer, we would have this park packed every day.
What would stop you, oh, so you're saying every day, they just come in and use it on their own?
No, not in the building, outside.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they would use, we could
Are
do
you
like.
still gonna hold events in the summer?
Absolutely.
So would you roll your stuff out in the parking lot with cones around it, use your gutters and do that?
No, I'm saying if we had a dirt track somewhere on township property where the track was there and there was like a, it was just there. I mean, my goal was originally to do an outdoor track.
Yep,
about
no, I don't remember, I'm just.
40 by 80.
Thinking,
I mean, we definitely have the room for it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would take that much money to purchase all the PVC pipe or whatever you might need. I mean,
It's that corrugated drain pipe, a couple $100. I think the majority of the cost would be from Jim's guys and the equipment.
I think Jim would probably do it for you
Yeah.
for, I'm not gonna say nothing, but.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you need like an elevated platform for the, almost like a, kind of like a dock, but like a small elevated platform for people to see down and see where they're racing, and that would just be like,
so like a race car track, wheel mount, is there regular grading involved in it to regrade it and do all of those things?
after the first time that you do it, if it's compacted properly and it's not in an area that floods, there would be just
Oh for 2, okay.
there would be occasional maintenance just to clean it up and get debris off of it. But
Have you been to the swamp?
it can't go in the swamp. But no, I mean, maybe once a year we'd have to do a little bit more significant maintenance on it, and then.
So you run a light roller tiller off it and re-pound it, you take a roller and run around it?
And if maybe annually we change the layout or the direction or whatever. But even that, I mean, there's a track in Burlington, Wisconsin, an indoor off-road clay and dirt track. And like once a
In
month,
Burlington?
that's the closest thing to here. Once a month, they bring a bobcat in the building, push it all flat, and redo the track.
I hope the doors are open and the EPA is around, or OSHA's not around.
Is there an opportunity for a club to make money doing that and support
Yes.
the upkeep on the field or the upkeep on the, the track?
Yeah, I've put out a donation box at the first 2 events, and averaged about $250 both times, which is just going. We also had to replace track pieces that got damaged,
Yeah, right,
so it's just
right.
going back in. But if you do something like that outdoors, you just charge a person $10 for the day or $20 for the day. And that's still less expensive than anywhere that's around us, and you don't have to travel. I mean, there's also other requests that have been made. So like in addition to the regular racing, one of the big things right now is they call them crawlers. Like think about like an off-road Jeep that goes very slow on like a rock course. And like we could even invite people to come in and build the course. So there's a lot of participation that could come with that.
How about minor airplane flyers?
There was a couple guys that came to the event that there's a field off of Pioneer Road and Ringwood Road called the Lakes RC Eagles, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's up behind Stiller's property, or the Justin's property.
Yeah. You have to have a really wide open spot
Oh,
to do
yeah,
that.
yeah, we're not big enough here, I was just,
Yeah,
Just past
So,
but anyway, yeah, so that was a success. I agree with what John said, if we could, you know, if there is any surplus left from the budget of the parks, I think that's another thing that we could do to get more people involved in the township.
yeah, there's still a lot of people out there don't even know what the township is.
Oh my God.
A lot,
100%.
yeah, it's amazing.
Any comments from the public?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
So now we can turn the camera off and tell you about our friend in the Southland.
Yeah, set the cameras up, please.
7:57.
I think we did okay for 3 of us being here for 2 hours.
To get the whole budget done, yeah.